Greetings, everybody. It is the Ash Heritor, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. In the previous episode, we queued, or queeweed, as they really say, in a very grimdark manner. We spent most of the episode waiting. It was actually pretty fun. We did all kinds of funny things while waiting. We also solved some issues for the Navigator House, or Celio. There seems to be some disagreements within the Navigator House about what Cassia is and what she represents. And I think both sides are incorrect, and we're going to hopefully show Cassia a better way that doesn't involve her becoming, you know, some evil thing or a puppet to one of the sub-factions within her family. Anyways, what we're going to do this episode is talk to all of the party members and see if there is any story updates.
Lord Captain, your presence is welcome. And I wish to apologize for my prior coldness. After our first meeting, I was concerned that you would turn out to be another faithless offshoot of the von Valancius dynasty, like the traitor Conrad. But now I see before me a worthy leader and servant of the Imperium. I am glad to accompany you in your endeavors.
Are you ready to tell me more about yourself now?
If such is the rogue trader's wish, although there isn't much I can tell, I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to know?
Where do you hail from?
Now that I can tell you, I come from everywhere and nowhere. I am the child of officers of the Imperial Guard. I was born in the hold of a warship. Grew up following my parents' deployments from one planet to another, and lost my family in the flames of a righteous war.
The orphans of the Imperial officer caste, or generally the Imperial nobility, usually end up in a place called the Scala Progenum, which is a big, galaxy expansive academy where they test and train these people, these children in brutal training regimens to eventually have them find a place within the Imperium's leadership or within the Ecclesiarchy, or various other places as well. So, generally speaking, the Inquisition recruits from the Scala Progenum. There are specific branches of the Scala Progenum that trains the Commissar, or the Commissariat class, as well as, this is also where most Imperial officers are trained, and numerous other sects. The Sisters of Battle, or the Adeptus Sororitas, do the same. They also draw from the Scala Progenum. So, and you're kind of like put through these aptitude tests and directed down the path that is best fit for you. So it's not like you have much choice where you end up when you're in the Scala Progenum. There's sometimes a bit, depending on, whatever legacy you come from, and of course, everything's just up for a whole lot of, exceptions and, different rules depending on where you are, who you are, and who you're being trained by. So.
My memory is like wafts of smoke over a still battlefield. The gray of a ship's plating. The strict cadence of life in military camps. My mother's uniform. I loved looking at it. Then, that battle. The rumbling, the shouting, and the soot. The screams of soldiers burning alive. And the gold of the regiment's Aquila, untouched by soot or blood, the last unsullied piece of a world that was going mad.
Yeah, so it says here, Argenta absent-mindedly touches the fragment of the golden Aquila hanging from her belt. So it looks like she took a piece of that from the regiment. So she does hold on to little bits of her past life. If you're confused as to why, she grew up amidst an Imperial Guard regiment, which, again, the Imperial Guard are the soldiers of the Astra Militarum. They're the foot soldiers of the Imperium. They're the regular guards you see down on most planets, though those technically are generally PDF, Planetary Defense Force, which are more of what you would think of as a militia. They stick around their planet and rarely leave their planet. and do their soldier work there. They're, generally speaking, less skilled and equipped than the Astra Militarum, though that is not always the case. Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard, the reason why there's families traveling with them is because when you join the Imperial Guard, you are not likely to ever see your home world again. You're going to get shipped off somewhere, and if you're lucky and you survive, you will probably eventually settle down somewhere else. So they either bring their families with them or create their families as they go. You know, they'll drop down on a planet, do whatever they need to do there, you know, fighting off Xenos or heretic uprisings or what have you. And during the rest and recovery period, which will often happen on the very planet they help defend or liberate, sometimes it can happen elsewhere too. They'll inevitably pick up a camp following, so to speak, the wives or, you know, husbands. There are women within the Imperial Guard quite frequently, though that varies drastically depending on which regiment you're talking about. So yeah, each of these Imperial Guard regiments has basically a baggage train, very medieval army style of often greater numbers than the actual regiment itself that travels with the regiment. Obviously they stay out of the direct war front, but oftentimes they're not that far from the war front, and they are in the same transport ships. So if anything happens to a transport ship carrying Imperial Guards, well, yeah, it's a grim life. If you ever want to read up on that or experience that in a story, I would highly, highly, highly recommend the Gaunt's Ghosts series by Dan Abnett. It is great. Everything about it is amazing.
That was my last memory of my mother, and of my former life. Before the Scholar Progenium and the novitiate. Before my trials. Before the vows.
Yeah. That golden shard you carry with you?
My own relic.
Yeah.
It's the regiment's Aquila. Or rather, the fragment that survived the attack, the explosions, and the fire. For me, it's a reminder that purity and radiance can be preserved, even in the heart of darkness.
It's probably just because, you know, gold doesn't melt as easily as flesh or other things that a standard might be made out of, but yeah, you think that. Oh, how did you become one of the Adeptus Sororitas?
Become. It's such a strange word for it. It seems right, but is that how one talks about their destiny? If you're asking about the path itself, that's easy enough to answer. First, like many other orphans, I endured the Scholar Progenium. Those years were rough, but I remember the hardship fondly. Few things can compare with the feeling of satisfaction from a past trial, even if it leaves your body aching from exhaustion, or your soul wincing in pain. I was one of the best among my peers, and I was selected for the novitiate in the ranks of the Adeptus Sororitas. When the hour came, I passed the trials and took my vows. The most joyous day of my life. The Emperor's light has always been with me, but to accept it with all your heart, to utter the oaths, that is a rapture like no other.
Yeah, props to the voice actress here. Definitely sounds like an Adeptus Sororitas. You can hear the zeal and the awe of the memory. We'll ask her this. Have you ever wished for a different lot in life? I mean, the answer is going to be no, but...
Have I ever... But that would be shameful weakness, almost heresy. Of course not. I was born for this. I live by the Emperor's will, and in his light, I myself am the light. I must be the light. For myself, and for those who ask for my protection.
I'm getting the sense, you know, when I said the answer is of course going to be no, I don't know if it's no within Argenta's heart, but she's definitely going to say no. But this sort of confirms that suspicion that I think Argenta is not entirely at peace with her purpose and is so forcing that purpose upon herself and just trying to blind herself so that she can maintain an illusion of internal peace. But an illusion of internal peace is not the same as actual internal peace. It's very interesting. She's one of the more interesting characters in the party, I must say.
I was chosen to serve. But beyond that, I won't deny it. Few things elate me as much as the thought that the heretic felled by my shot will never again orphan a child.
I mean, that's fair. Protect the galaxy by illuminating the darkness one bolter shell at a time. Thank you for your candor.
It is my pleasure to be candid.
I would like to discuss Salus Prime and the relic that you want to find.
Of course. My mission is all I can think about.
We've already talked about all of these things. Right? I think so. Yeah.
One day we will reach Salus Prime and stand before the gates of Saint Argenta's ship. I know it.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. Okay. So that was a little conversation there, getting a bit of Argenta's backstory. Very cool. How about Cassia?
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Okay, well...
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Not much to be said there. We talked to her very recently, so that makes sense. There is, of course, the helmsman. We could check on him. He's right here. Oh. Interesting. Ravor, it has come to my attention that a fuel lever on the bridge may be defective. Can you not be trusted to carry out your duties without my personal oversight? The officer's furrowed eyebrows draw even closer together. He speaks slowly, carefully picking his words. I most definitely can, Lord Captain. The technomats will inspect the equipment immediately. We'll also deal with those in charge on the lower decks without delay. Alright. Just a little thing we discovered. Not sure when we did, but I do vaguely remember it. Talk to Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Nothing to be said here.
Lord Captain.
Heinrichs.
To what do I owe this visit?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. You could just... yeah. You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Alright. We're gonna head somewhere else. Yeah, to my private quarters. No voice acting here. Thank you for an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its enquiries, Van Calox. Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable. The interrogator smiles, but his eyes remain cold. To business, then. The cult of the Final Dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Khorne's expanse and instigate crimes against the throne of humanity. Or throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. Why would Ordo Xenos... Oh yeah, actually, this is a point. Why would Ordo Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? Indeed, this is the Ordo Hereticus's purview. Why would Ordo Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized, Cyrene von Valancius. Yes, initially our arrival in the Khorne's expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos, but there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I will be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now I ask you to display humility and patience. Okay, so this Xenos connection... I mean, there's obviously a connection to the Drukhari, potentially, or at least the cult seems to be following in the wake of the Drukhari being up to something. We cannot quite rule out the Yuvath. Again, I'm not going to fully explain what that name means yet. Just want it to be said in case it's relevant. They are active in the Khorne's expanse. This this species did originate from the original Rogue Trader Fantasy Flight Games RPG, so can't rule them out yet. A chaos cult in my protectorate, Heinrichs. Are you laying an accusation against my dynasty? Chaos treads softly, Cyrene von Valancius. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, until an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the Rogue Trader's planets does not mean the dynasty head herself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant. Yes, indeed. Heinrichs regards you with a probing look. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself, and then perhaps you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation. The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show lenience towards my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical. That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed rogue trader. To be frank, I am surprised. The Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weakness of soul and mind, even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title. And now, of course, you have spies on the Von Valancius worlds. I mean, we know of one. The person I mentioned is not a spy, but a secretary in the Administratum Department on Dargonis. The planet's governor and Theodora were fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath of the Golden Throne and eliminate threats to the Imperium, which the Khorne's expanse has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. As soon as we contact Dargonis, I will introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I am sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally. Yeah, of course. We already know this. I guess this game isn't perfect with kind of flagging events that already transpired and adjusting the dialogue accordingly. We've had that happen a few times. I don't think any CRPG is perfect. Even Baldur's Gate, which does a remarkably good job of that, occasionally slips up from time to time. I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn. Chaos worshippers. Most often agents of the throne run into lone renegades stirred up by the rabble, insane prophets and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days. A passing comet, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters. Each time they come up with a new version of why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of those loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established the connection between those heretics. Yeah. However, the cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune-tellers. They cleverly spread their agents all over the Khorne's expanse, disseminating heresy among honest people on Imperial worlds. There is a certain strategy to their actions that changes whenever we get too close, and finally, they have enough military power to have had the 2 ships that we sent after them later discovered as wreckage. Yeah, indeed. You know what they remind me of? I'm blanking on the name, but it's the school, the Cognite, that was it. From the another Dan Abnett series, his Inquisition cycle, so the Eisenhorn and Ravener and now Beckwin books. Also, incredibly good. If you want to read about some really cool characters doing some Inquisitor or Inquisition stuff, and seeing the common life of the Imperium as well. It does a very good job of showing that. Yeah, great books. They start off a little weird. I have to say, the first Eisenhorn book is weirdly paced. Actually, the entire Eisenhorn trilogy is kind of weirdly paced. But still, overall, very good. The Ravener series, I thought, was better. And the Beckwin series it's something else. That what was the second one called? Not Pariah, but Penitent. Oh man. Penitent was great. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us, but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out. Heinrich sighs. After the events of Reichard Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate that it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. I have already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else do you need? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gama. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. Oh, we've seen that firsthand. I will be frank. The answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Khorne's expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Why did your suspicion fall on Kiava Gama? Was it the demon engine? Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago, a vessel from that world arrived on footfall. The reports from the crew were confusing and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. Of course, we met a Chaos Space Marine on Reichard Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? I have no doubt it will happen sooner or later, Cyrene von Valancius. Chaos Space Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Khorne's expanse, and not an entire company. Yep, that would be bad. I won't let anyone throw their weight around on my worlds, be they servants of Chaos, Xenos, or heretics. A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fate of billions of people and dozens of Imperial worlds in her hands, which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots. Well, we've already done that on Janos. That is enough discussion about the archenemy servants. Tell me more about the Drukhari who stole Reichard's son. Heinrich winces. The Drukhari. One of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people who fall prey to their raids, for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright, but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Yep, they literally eat pain. Well, they don't eat it, they more feed Slaanesh, whose presence is within all of them, and if they don't, not good. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium auger arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship. No, they are only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway, a different dimension which conceals their greatest stronghold, Komora, the dark city of the Drukhari, from which none can hope to escape. Heinrich studies your expression. I do not know why the Drukhari stole Reichard's son, and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs, or perhaps Aurora's divinations, in fact, describe the Drukhari's actions. There is only one thing I can say with absolute certainty. There is no alliance between the Cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It is simply impossible. I am in agreement. I believe this was an opportunistic benefit to the Cult of the Final Dawn. And that the Drukhari were rather unaware, and possibly aware, but probably didn't care. I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I am here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of. You have my word that I will provide every assistance in uprooting the heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valancius worlds while their mistress was away, and I will try to be more patient with the less grievous flaws the bearers of the warrant of trade are sometimes known to have. He inclines his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. Right. Productive conversation. Now we must depart. What do we got here? Chessboard? Regicide. The winner was never determined. Unfortunate. I should probably remove that painting, actually. I think we can talk to Janice Danrock. To ditch the Theodora painting. I'm steadily becoming more certain that Theodora was involved in some form of heresy. Oh, is Iliad being accosted by bridge officers? Iliad's lithe form stands frozen in an unnatural pose amidst the blinking lumens and dancing shadows of the bridge. Her hands are clasped together strangely and her eyes are tightly closed. Her chest is utterly still as if she is not breathing at all. Iliad, are you all right? Your words are met with deafening silence, but the flicker of Iliad's eyes beneath her closed lids lets you know that she is still alive, at least. Have I done something to offend you? For the first time, Iliad takes a deep breath in through her nose and barely audibly exhales. Her body remains as relaxed as ever, and her eyes are still closed. Your presence does not seem to be in any way distracting for her. That can be exasperating too, you know. I hope your condition is not a symptom of some kind of xenomalady. Iliad's face remains impassive, almost serene. The only movement comes from her hands, which intertwine smoothly, forming a new intricate gesture. She still does not hear your words, or is choosing to ignore them. Let's not bother her. I shall come back to see you later.
A reasonable thought, but one that occurred too late to your inquisitive mind. You have gotten what you wanted. Your clamorous presence has pulled me from my immersion. So tell me, what brings you here?
You were deep in a special Eldari meditation, weren't you?
Yes. I am sometimes surprised by the depth of your knowledge of my kind's customs, Alantark. But even if listening is your only skill, that in itself elevates you above billions of other monkey.
Ah, thanks for the compliment.
My meditation is immersion. Immersion into myself, my inner world. It is my chance to speak to myself, but without words, or to heal wounds that cannot be seen with ordinary sight. It is difficult to explain, even in the language of the children of Asurian. There are so many meanings and shades in its sound alone, and the monkey tongue is too sparse and awkward. No. Immersion must be seen to be realized.
This is gonna be another lesson.
I should say, Alantark, that during meditation, the mind does not leave the body. Part of it remains vigilant, monitoring what is taking place outside. So I heard every word you said, and I saw everything you did.
Well, good thing we were being nice.
I am disappointed by your lack of restraint, I will admit. Every day, you become more primitive, more like other monkey. Do not allow your bestial nature to win out. I can see that there is more to you than that.
So you knew I was there the whole time, and you did not even bat an eye?
Immersion requires concentration and unity of mind, body, and spirit. Entering this state unprepared, or coming out of it suddenly, can be harmful.
Okay, well, we don't need to ask that, and we're not going to say this. We have pressing matters to discuss. Interesting. Okay. No. There's lots of things we can ask here. I've been mulling over our conversation, and I can understand why you do not like people, but I think there is something else, something I cannot understand.
What do I see? Your words ring with the desire to know the soul of another. But will you be able to comprehend my answer?
Try me.
You and I, Elantark, look at this world in very different ways. And I see many more facets, and deeper meanings, and brighter colors in it. But to capture the full truth of this world in the miserly language familiar to your ears will take time. I will come to you with an answer later.
Okay. I think asking either of these things is going to piss her off, so let's not. And I mean, she's not the reason why strange and blasphemous things are happening during the first warp voyage with you on board. Like, I mean, probably not. She's not a witch. Not one of the Eldari witches, the warlocks, as they're called, or a Farseer. So, I'm assuming it's a coincidence or something we picked up on Janus. Footfall is buzzed with rumors about Xenos ravaging the sector. Do you think it could be your kin from Prud'Darak? Probably not. Although, we did find the strange wreckage. So perhaps I will ask this.
Is that snake venom seeping from your lips?
No.
We, the children of Azurian, are no strangers to the art of war. We are not raiders, or butchers, or least of all, fools. When a craft world is beset by calamity, its inhabitants do not start a war with every monkey in the sector. If you are looking for enemies, look for them elsewhere.
What happened to your homeworld?
It is a mystery as inscrutable as the sigh of the last immortal. As deep as the waters of a dark ocean. And I can tell you little, for I was far away, on a mission with my unit. We returned at the appointed hour, but we did not find Prud'Darak in its celestial harbor. It happened many turns ago. Or standard years, as you say. But I remember that moment as if it happened this very day. The memory of a loss is always stronger than the memory of a gain. Especially when you lose something as significant as a home. Or an entire world.
Yep, right on that one.
We searched. We called out. We looked everywhere. But we saw only emptiness. And the echo of calamity. Countless days passed before I found myself on the Lilithon and met some of my kin. Those refugees who had barely managed to reach our ancestral planet. Their stories were far from being the fruit of truth I so badly craved. Those who agreed to talk to me were few, for most saw me as a wayward daughter who had spurned the honorable paths. And they would not stop babbling about a terrible disease that spread black tendrils of pain over the paths of the Infinity Circuit and deadened our world one segment after another. The ones who survived fled in fear and wandered between the stars until the Lilithon's warm light reached out to some of them.
Yeah.
Some, like Muaran, lay the blame entirely on Monkey. However, I do not know the truth, but I hope, I desperately hope and pray to the gods that someday it will be revealed to me.
What is an Infinity Circuit?
Is idle curiosity a defining feature of the Monkey? Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you can destroy another world of the children of Azurian? Forgive me, Elantark, but I am not ready to immerse you in the font of my people's deepest mysteries.
I'm not trying to learn weaknesses in this case, but that's fine. I wish we could actually say that. How do your craft worlds work, then?
Is idle curiosity a defining
Exact
feature
same.
of the Monkey? Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you can destroy another world of the children of Asuryan?
What was your world like before it fell?
Forgive me. Cruderock cannot be described in your language. It can only be sung. Encased in a filigree of sounds. A melody as complex and delicate as the Infinity Circuit. Its energy network. It can be seen in the golden hues of sunlight. Felt in the breath of celestial winds. Though it was an artificial world, it was just as alive as any real planet.
Yep. Yeah, remember the Eldari, the craft world Eldari float around on these giant craft worlds, which are, yeah, as you said, artificial planets. They don't look like planets. They look like enormous, very elegant ships covered with, you know, domes and spires and giant solar sail collector or solar wind collecting sails and all that type of stuff.
But I must see clearly. Not only light, but also shadows. I yearn to remember only Cruderock's beauty, but it had a dark side too. My world was isolated for too long. Like a lake of stagnant water. There was no movement or renewal, and even the sweetest outbursts of life soon turned fetid. Who knows? Who knows? Had there been no stagnation, had our elders not been so blind in their dogmatism and our youths not lacking in courage, then perhaps Cruderock would still be alive even now?
Who's to say it's not still alive? We don't know it's dead. All we know is that it's missing. And that something bad happened to it. Might still be technically alive, although maybe it's better if it's just dead. What can you tell me about the history of the Eldari?
I am afraid your life is too fleeting, and your memory too feeble to encompass the entirety of my knowledge. My people ruled the stars when yours did not even have a name. But many of our songs and stories were lost, stolen by she who thirsts.
Who you guys created.
I can tell you the children of Asuryan lived, created, caressed the stars as if they were pearls on a string, until Cylon Thresh smothered our empire in her terrifying embrace.
Cylon Thresh is she who thirsts, aka the Chaos God Slanesh, just as a quick reminder.
Different branches of the Eldari chose different paths to salvation. My ancestors chose an eternal journey through the starry void, living on craft worlds instead of real planets. We rescued countless wonders from the days before, but far from all. You saw this on the Lilithen. Not even we can always master the gates our ancient ones built. This is the story of the Asuriyani. There are branches that chose a different path, gruesome and frightening. But I do not wish to tell you about them. That is our dark side, just as your kin have many dark sides of their own.
Yeah, that's fair. You keep mentioning She Who Thirsts. What can you tell me about her?
Why ask this question? Is it idle curiosity, or something else? Do not turn your thoughts towards Cylon Thresh, whatever your motive. She is downfall. She is hunger. She is the enemy of all that is good in the universe. She is an enemy to the Eldari, and I hope to you as well.
The Chaos Gods are enemies of the Imperium, which means they are my enemies. You can be sure of that.
We are as different as starlight and its reflection in a muddy puddle. But we share a common enemy. Constancy is our strength.
One last thing. All Eldari carry these crystals, spirit stones. I want to know what they are.
You are talking about something you cannot comprehend, Elantark. Waystones are not mere trinkets worn by my people. They are something greater. From birth and to the last breath, the Spirit Stone belongs only to its owner. serving as an ever-present reminder that we are mortal. For it is the first refuge of the mind and the last refuge of the soul, which Silent Thresh is so eager to devour.
Basically, when Eldari die, their souls are trapped in their spirit stones. If all goes well, their spirit stones are then returned to the infinity circuit of their craft world, where they sort of enter an afterlife dream. If their spirits are not trapped by a spirit stone, which basically involves the spirit stone that they're carrying either being lost or destroyed, their spirits are instead devoured by Slaanesh upon their death, which, sucks. Also, if they don't make their way back to the craft world, I think spirit stones can degrade. They can also be corrupted, stolen, broken, thus freeing the Eldari spirit trapped inside to be devoured by Slaanesh. This is why they call her She Who Thirsts. She's constantly trying to eat them. And if they indulge in too strong of emotions, it draws her/its attention. This is why the Drukhari are forced to feed it pain, because, well, they're constantly indulging in strong emotions. They never left the hedonistic madness that engulfed the Eldari civilization prior to Slaanesh's birth. And the only way that they can survive it is by feeding it something even more extreme than what they are experiencing themselves, which is why they indulge it with the agony of their torture victims. Thankfully, the craft world Eldari have chosen a calm and collected path where they basically temper their emotions and prevent She Who Thirsts from being drawn to them in that way.
The souls of the children of Asurion move into the stones after death, and then they become a part of the infinity circuit on a craft world, so they can serve their people even when the body is gone. There is no crime more despicable than harming a waystone and dooming the immortal soul of a child of Asurion to an eternity of torment in the maw of She Who Thirsts. We need waystones as desperately as darkness needs starlight, and Monkey need air. And so we are bound to wander the galaxy in search of the old worlds that might give another craft world hope for existence. Each monkey's heart is one of your lives. Each waystone is the preserved soul of a child of Asurion.
I've learned all I wanted to know. You have my gratitude.
As you wish, Elantark.
Tell me about your kin and your homeworld?
I refuse to discuss this with a monkey.
Okay.
We are but traveling companions who happen to be following the same road among the stars. Do not even try to get under my skin. It will not work.
Interesting. We just did that, so I think that's probably just a game coding glitch right there. Let's ignore that. We will ask this just to get it out of the way. Am I still unworthy of discussing your world and your kin? Okay. I mean, we did discuss your world and your kin to some degree. Well, why did you agree to join me? Is it not strange for an Eldari to be following a human?
The outcasts my path led me to had a saying. Let me translate it for you. If you fall off a cliff, grab the roots and do not ask if they belong to a weed or a noble rosebush. You are the root I grabbed, Elantark, because I fell off a cliff. My homeworld is gone. My kin are either dead or hiding no one knows where. By joining forces with you, I may be able to nurture a seedling of the truth I so deeply yearn for.
For a second, Iliad's expression changes. She almost grins before continuing. That's interesting. First, I mean, we've seen her have an outburst of anger, but first, grin. But I think this is more of a sardonic type of grin. Well, what do you think is happening on Janus right now?
the Lilithon is purifying herself of the corruption brought by the servants of Cylon Thrash. Gardens and birds, animals and people. Many are gone forever, and even more are corrupted beyond healing. But the Lilithon is stronger. This world will live.
Good.
My kin are probably still looking for a means to enter the webway. May the Lilithon spirit aid them in this endeavor. Beyond the gate lies salvation, and perhaps even knowledge about the fate of Kruderok and the remaining survivors.
Alright. I will ask you this. Strange and blasphemous things started happening during the first voyage with you aboard. The crew are whispering that you may be the reason. Is this true?
The minions of She Who Thirsts could sense my soul behind the thick walls and thin veil that separate your fragile lives from the roiling fury outside.
Okay.
A child of Asurian that dared to wander beyond the veil, within the reach of an outstretched claw, protected only by the barrier of unreliable monkey technology. It is too tempting a quarry for the monsters that serve Cylon Thrash.
Okay, I hadn't considered that. Yeah, so she's not responsible, but it is the warp trying to eat her.
Our ships never venture beyond the veil, and I never traveled the way you do, monkey. Ilantak, I admit this was a novel experience. I lost composure, let dismay into my heart, and almost strayed from the path. This moment of hesitation drew the attention of She Who Thirsts. But I summoned my will and used the knowledge of meditation to achieve balance, and hide my soul behind an impenetrable wall of resolve. Future journeys beyond the veil will still be difficult, but I will steel my heart and not let the hounds of Cylon Thrash pick up my scent ever again.
Good to hear. Lastly, allow me to ask you a few personal questions.
What do you wish to talk about?
Well, what is it like for you being on my ship?
It feels like I am in the belly of a bird with steel wings. Cold and unliving, but stubbornly blazing through the dark. It lacks life with its light and beauty, but although your vessel cannot even remotely be compared to a craft world, I feel strangely satisfied. We, the Asuriani, are born and dwell on craft worlds. To find myself on a moving world again, even one such as yours, is a source of much joy.
Not the answer I expected. We know how she came to be on Janus. But, and tell me about yourself. Who were you before you came to Janus?
I followed my path. Do you know what a path is to the children of Asurian? It is more than a chosen, what do you call it, craft. The path is how each of us moves through the labyrinth of existence, inside and out, in life and in spirit. It is both a journey and a fortress. It protects us from She Who Thirsts. To stray from the path is to fall into her dark embrace.
Yup.
The first path I walked was the path of awakening. It granted me the ability not merely to look, but to see, and to take notice of what I saw. My second path could have been that of a warrior, but I chose differently. For the ability to see called me beyond the boundaries of my homeworld. Though not everyone was pleased by this decision, I stepped onto the path of the outcast. I gained the freedom to choose, to question, to doubt where the others merely bow before the wisdom of a Farseer who dictates the will of destiny. And I will follow my path until I reach its pinnacle.
I thank you for your answers.
The words of truth sound like music. This is what our people say.
All right, interesting stuff there. Let's talk to the High Factotum here. I would like to replace the painting of the late Theodora in my chambers, hang my portrait instead. Generous bows obsequiously. It will be done, your ladyship. Fantastic. Don't feel like, especially after the whole, undead Theodora came at me. I don't really feel like I want her to be leering down at me. We should talk to Pascal. He had a moment as well.
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
Pascal raises his eyes from a data slate connected to an augmetic. The augmetic was used to be housed inside the skull of Tarsus, the tech priest who perished on your ship. Have you found anything out?
The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly.
Yeah, just something's pitting the servants of the Deus Mechanicus against each other. Something's interfering with, what's happening here. Are you not surprised that Amarnat's words had such an effect on Opticon 22?
I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amarnat's teaching was in exploratory circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron.
Perhaps you will be able to find out more.
I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence.
Yeah. Strange messages have appeared in the ship's log. What do you know about this error?
This statement is true. Algorithmic violations have been recorded, as a result of which I twice performed an offering to the cogitators of corrective data vows and ruled out the possibility of sabotage. I hypothesize that the violation is a consequence of the discontent of the ship's machine spirits. I recommend a procedure of placation of the honored spirits for the glory of the Omnissiah and the steel angels sent by him.
Okay.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Alright. Lastly, yeah, Jay here. We can, Jai.
You
talk to her
are
now.
spoiling me with the splendor of your presence again, Cyrene. Have you decided to treat your soul to the fruits of my eloquence? Or do you wish to discuss business with the newly appointed owner of a Mercatum Tabula Officiale?
Nothing more to be said here.
Oh.
And Idira, where are you? You're a navigator. There she is. Who's this navigator? Huh. Why do we have another navigator? Interesting. Let's talk to Idira. We haven't talked to Idira for a while. Her lips curve into a smile and she nods at something over your shoulder. So if you remember back a long time ago, you seem to have a strong reaction to what Argenta said about by the broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch.
Yeah. I mean, we can't trust her talent.
After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
I mean, blood in her past, that's, I guess, could be the, either when she got captured or defeated by the heretics, or even in her childhood when her parents died. Twilight in her present, I guess the lack of purpose that consumed her up until rather recently, I think. And then the star leading her is obviously the wreck of the ship that she believes belonged to Saint Argenta, though I'm gonna actually, I think, side with Idira here, that maybe she is being led astray. That this desire to discover the truth of Saint Argenta and, you know, find her remains, because she views it as something of a calling, you know, she's finding the very saint who was lost, who she was named after. It smells a bit too much like hubris. Like wanting to fit, not necessarily hubris, but wanting to fit into something very important. And that could be something that was seeded by the enemy. A deception by the warp. Maybe we should warn Argenta.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and tell her the wicked Psyker has divined something about her. She'll be so pleased and grateful, and of course she'll listen to what you have to say. No, that would be pointless. And anyway, I'm not even sure what it all means. Maybe the danger is to her? Or maybe the danger's coming from her.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of both. Awareness test fails. Idira's words drip with naked animosity. Okay. Have you recovered from your encounter with the false Theodora? Actually, no, let's follow up here. Things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Yeah, the pride of wanting to be part of something great. And that does not intersect well with the absolute humility required for her station. And I think that's causing Idira, or not Idira, Argenta's, the weirdness about her. Because Cassie has mentioned that there's something a little bit off about her as well. It might be that. It might be something else that's nesting within that. Anyways, have you recovered from your encounter with the false Theodora?
I'm not going to lie. I haven't. Maybe I never will. But I'm not hearing random voices anymore. And I haven't been calling anyone from the other side. No. All that's done with. After what you did for me, I can't let you down again.
Good. Very well, Idira. We will hope for the best.
Yes, ma'am, Lord Captain. We will.
All right.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
I think we'll start trying to use her again. I will bring her only when I have Cassia around. So we'll just have to sculpt our groups to work that way. Anyways, so we're going to head off to Viabos 6 now. So we are on Dargonis at the moment. So we're going to head back into the warp. What's the time on our episode? 1 hour. All right, well, let's at least do a tiny bit of exploration before we end the episode. So, what do we have here? Save the Eldari survivors up there, and that's going to be to Viabos 6. So, 2 potential routes. Ooh, where do we go first? Pelium Solitas? Let's go. It's unsafe. I think we should be able to manage that without any issue. Very nice. Here we are. We have ourselves a blue gas giant, a Neptune-like planet right up here. Cool. And We have ourselves... I can't tell what this might be. Dead planet. Desert world, even. Different types of desert world. Bones in the desert. Interesting. After analyzing the auger data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turn the world into a lifeless desert. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of a colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. What the hell? Life is fragile, even for creatures this enormous. Unsettling. A volcano planet, or burning world.
I happened to read about burning worlds in Pandora. It is said the fires there have been raging for close to a century, though no one knows why. How long has this one been burning?
Desert planet also? Savannah world. Okay, nothing here, literally nothing. This is an empty system. Which is fine. They don't all need to have something. This is the first one that we've encountered where there's truly been nothing for us to do, aside from quickly scanning those bones. We can chart new routes. Let's do that. Is that gonna create a link to there? It will. Oh, that's it though. Alright. No, let's not. Go back here. And we'll take the route up. Oh, the duty officer reported an incident in the shuttle repair bay. A security team was dispatched in response to a distress signal, but when they arrived, they discovered that the shuttle repair crew had doubled in number. Somehow, every crew member now had an identical twin, but each assured the enforcers that they were the real one. The enforcers immediately opened fire, killing everyone in the bay. The duty officer awarded the squad a commendation for their vigilance and efficiency. Lovely. The ship left the hostile immaterium and returned to real space. This reminds me of one of the events involving self-similar space in the game Ixion. If you don't know the game Ixion, it's a, like, city builder or a colony sim that's set inside a ring ship that's fleeing Earth after a very dubious event caused Earth to, die. And my god, is it grimdark. Like, if you like this, Ixion is fucking grimdark on... I would say it's even darker than 40k. Because it's so much more human, it's closer. But the weird anomalous stuff in Ixion was really cool. Like, it's a very difficult game, so I don't know if I can recommend, like, trying to play it, but do watch a playthrough of it. There's, the channel Party Elite has a awesome playthrough of Ixion. And, definitely recommend it. Great game. Great game that I can never play, because I'm not good enough to get past the second zone. Yep, we're gonna go to Narmer. Nice name. Narmer is, of course, the name of the first true pharaoh of Egypt, at least according to what we understand. The name is believed to mean raging catfish, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, the unifier of Upper and Lower Egypt, the very first one. Enemies of humanity have been spotted aboard the ship. Warp beasts have enthralled the crew in charge of one of the macro cannons and massacred those who resisted the heresy. The Lord Captain is our only hope. What is this? We need a certain type of cargo to do that? That's interesting. What will this do? No, we're gonna go and personally face these contemptible foes. Cassia is navigating, so she will not be part of that. Heinrichs is definitely gonna come along. Macro cannon problems. We should probably bring Pascal. Yeah, we'll go like this. Maybe we should bring Iliad instead of... No, I think this is going to be fine. Alright, so we'll end today's episode off with a fight. Seems like one of the random on-ship encounters. But hey, you know, it's free exp and free cargo. Most of the time you don't get any meaningful loot out of these, but that's fine. And this one seems to be different than the usual plague bearers and plague zombies, so that's something. Hopefully it's not all servitors. Okay, what have we here? Everything appears to be on fire. Can we not walk in the fire? That would be great. Oh, that is a bloodletter. That's concerning.
Remember, innocence proves nothing.
Join me in prayer. Carry the Emperor's will as your torch.
Okay, so Bloodletter is bad, so let's get in there with this. Okay, a little bit of damage there. I think, where am I going to stand? This is kind of a good place. Argenta can stand right here. She's apparently not getting forward cover from that. I'm not sure why, but okay. How far can we actually move her? We can move her even farther, but... No, I'm going to put myself back here so that I can give some sort of direction to anybody I so need. Very weird setup here. We'll put him back there, and Jai... Nowhere to drop down on the enemy from that side, so I'll leave her right here for now. I think it's going to be in our best interests to actually cover the top here, so we can have Pascal shoot down with his melting gun, and we can have Jai blast with her needle pistol. So let them come to us. This is going to be Khorne worshippers. They're going to be coming in close. Alright, so, I will move back here.
Don't let your guard down.
And we're going to give Argenta another turn. So, she has 2 stacks of versatility already. What we can do is immediately put some more... Okay, apparently we can't. So I have to dash out of here. This is a little bit screwy cover then. Fantastic damage. Run and gun. And then do a single shot onto one of these guys. Fantastic. Okay. Oh yeah, we want to do confident approach. Alright, so we're sitting at 4 versatility already. First turn, we're done. Now we can go again. Let's drop a front right there. We'll put a rear right here. And the back line, yeah, right here.
I'll see to it personally.
So it's just this spot here that's uncovered, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm going to give Argenta forewarning. I am going to... Oh, we are not in a situation where we should actually be using too many psychic powers. So, we can give Jai some juice. We can actually juice up Argenta. We can't use this on her again, unfortunately, but we can, if I move right here,
I'll see
use
to
this
it
on Jai.
personally.
And then I think she should be able to shoot up this way. Unfortunately, she doesn't have range, but that's okay, because you have a sniper rifle, so we'll get you range. She could also drop a voice of command on somebody, so we could actually drop a voice of command here on Pascal for her extra action, and then she can just take a single action Deadeye shot onto the Bloodletter, I guess. Can't. Okay. Then put it there. Okay, solid damage.
I can do that with the right incentive.
Okay, 10 stacks of press the advantage, 5 stacks of tactical advantage. Yeah, we're in a bit of danger here, so I will shoot with the needle pistol right here.
Make it happen.
Or needle rifle. Wow, messed that guy up. Okay. Let them come. Alright. Oh wow, they're fast.
Is that my
Blasted himself point blank with a fire grenade. Okay. Yeah, they're quick.
I serve the ruinous powers.
And this is... Oh shit! I didn't even see this one.
Duty go hand in hand.
Oh no! I did not see that one. Yeah, we're in deep doo-doo. I need to heal Cyrene.
Let me tend to your wounds. I owe you a debt.
We're gonna use Furious Recital. Now is a good time for that. Oh my god, they all get their attacks of opportunities from that. I did not realize that, but it seems like it's okay. Can we move out of here? We must be able to. Run. It's gonna provoke some more attacks of opportunity, but that I'm willing to take. Man. Okay. Can we do a controlled shot?
As the Emperor commands, I act.
We sure can.
None can
Okay, one of them's dead. Damn it. Okay, we can wildfire now. We'll reload first. So wildfire... Okay, yeah, indeed. Thanks to the comment that pointed out that I don't need to actually diversify the attacks when using wildfire. It automatically grants. Though in this case I will, because otherwise we're getting a lot of friendly fire. But let's pick off this cultist here. Okay, coming back up on the momentum here, so I'm actually going to retreat. She needs to just not be targeted. Yeah, having Heinrichs go down already is a problem. These guys are really annoying. With how fast they are.
I
Okay.
definitely need a drink or a medikit.
Is it time for a monofilament grenade, or we switch to your pistols? Because I can't really move her. She's going to take a ton of damage. I could strong point. Get her some extra temporary health. It's probably a good call. I could also use Finest Hour, because she's probably about to go down. Or we can use Last Volley right here. That might not be a terrible idea. But let's buff people up first before we maybe do that. Can't really... I can buff the explosive barrel here. Speaking of explosive barrel here, let's actually move a little bit away. Okay, good. She doesn't actually take further damage from that. Okay, what about shooting down this way? 54%? That's 30%? Yeah, there's a 6% chance of tagging Cyrene with that. Or I can throw a monofilament grenade right here. That's only going to hit 2 of them. Yeah, we're in a 6% chance of hitting Cyrene. Okay, well, at least that guy's dead. We can get a 56% chance right there, but it's also going to hit this explosive barrel.
Don't get too cocky. Never
It didn't hit the explosive barrel. That's good.
Reload.
Reload.
And it is done.
Another shot.
I can do that. Jai Hedari.
Okay, fantastic.
Remember the name.
I'm gonna do move on Cyrene so that Cyrene can get out of here. Provoke some attacks of opportunity. But... Okay. She's gonna go down in a second, probably, so... Bloodthirsty Marksman. Okay. Okay, thankfully all you succeeded in is friendly fire, so that's nice. No fire grenades. Thank you.
Such is the will of chaos.
Look, finally,
Chaos guides me.
Oh man. This is gnarly.
Bloody throne. Don't you bring me none.
This is a... I don't know what to do with this encounter. Okay, we gotta... Yeah, like we're... There's nowhere to go. I will heal up Abelard.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. We have 3 action points left. What can we do here? I could blast a multi-melta shot right here. That's going to do quite a lot of damage. Do it. Okay. 1 dead. Drop a Cold of Bold. Oh no, sorry. Wrong. Now we have 2 action points left, so we can do another Melta shot here. I can take out one of these guys. Some damage onto one of the Bloodletters. This might actually kill it. Unlikely, but... No. Unfortunate. Let's put a bounty on this cultist. Though, actually, I don't know. I don't think we should be using our bounties right now. Now it's Abelard's turn. He's at least in a somewhat decent condition. We could throw a frag grenade right here. That will do a fair bit of damage. But I feel like, yeah, we're already trapped in combat here. And there's just nowhere we can really go. I could also move out. I gotta get out of the flames. And I gotta save Argenta. If Argenta dies, we're in serious doo-doo. So I'm running this way. Take an attack of opportunity, that's fine. I'm gonna use my big med kit here on Argenta. It's gonna actually not heal very much, but it's gonna do something. And then what we can do is charge back in. So we'll kill him. Almost kill him, I should say. We could blast him with the pistol.
Indeed.
Get some, nice, that actually worked out quite well. Cautious advance, and, do I taunting scream? I'm gonna taunting scream right up here.
Victory is imminent.
Force these 3 guys to attack me. I think Abelard can take them. We're gonna endure. And lastly, I'm gonna brace for impact.
It will be done.
Hopefully we survive.
I've faced worse than
Okay,
this.
I'm pulling further back. Yeah. Let's put our front line. I gotta move other lines as well. So we have our back line or our rear. I put our rear right here. Okay, I can't move anything else, unfortunately. So now I can give Argenta another turn at the very least. We can juice up Abelard. And we'll give Argenta an extra turn. So that she can... I would love to shoot. We can still shoot. She's going to heal herself first, though. Okay. What can we do? No way that we're going to be able to not do friendly fire. We could do a controlled shot, but then we can't do our multi-shot here. But you know what? It's okay, because we're going to do that anyways. Because we can use our wildfire. So I'm going to then drop a wildfire. And then we can shoot down here. So yeah, this is lying. Okay, 1 dead. A little bit more damage onto the beast there. Get out of the fire. Okay. What else can we do? I've got a gun. Can we pick anyone off? We can pick this one off. Lovely. And we can move the front line to right here, I dare say.
Not me.
Okay. It's coming for Abelard. Thankfully, that's a miss. And now it's Argenta's turn again. Revel and slaughter. Absolutely. Controlled shot. Full auto onto this Bloodletter.
As the Emperor commands.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Run and gun. Just don't run. Single shot.
I'll do it.
Beautiful. And that's our turn. Oh man, that ability is fucking brutal. Thankfully we parried. Okay. Okay, that's a miss.
I am your doom.
Okay, parried. Nice job, Abelard. He's holding. He's still holding. And that will damage the ally right there. That's hilarious. And killed him. Friendly fire in melee. This makes sense for the Khorne worshippers, and the fires are gone. Oh, praise the Emperor. Medicae Mechadendrite. Bounty, right here. Yes. Pull the bolt. And chop chop. 40% chance only. It's not very good, but, you know, it's fine. We did it. We'll get a bounty on this Bloodletter as well. And then... Oh, we can't shoot it anymore. Okay. Well, we'll do some... actually, let's do a joint analysis. Just to give some allies some attack bonus. I think we got this.
Indeed.
Sworn enemy. Fucking die.
I took care of this.
Thank you. We can pistol this jerk.
At your beck and call.
Okay, and then we'll kick him down the stairs.
It will be done.
Hopefully. Well, didn't kick him down the stairs. That's a pity.
A mere pain won't stop me.
Okay. Let's give... we can, I think, advance up to here.
My gut tells
Give Abelard an extra action. Can we give you a... We cannot. Okay. Give Abelard an extra action. He'll finish this up. There's one more enemy, of course. That's disappointing.
Reduce to dust!
Alright. And if you could move right up here.
Make some opportunities. It's as good as done.
Needle rifle that jerk. Nice shot. Put our front line there. This was this was brutal. Can we give buffs to anybody? No. Okay, Argenta, can we move there and get... Yeah, we can then get line of sight onto him. Perfect. Yeah, we should be good.
Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
Goodbye. My god. What a fight.
I always have a backup plan.
What do you got? Probably just an auto gun. Okay. Well. Yeah.
I always keep my options open.
It was a Khorne encounter, and it felt like a Khorne encounter. They came in fast and hard. And very recklessly. That is how it should feel. Props to the game for making it feel like a, thematic to the faction that we were fighting. And scary. Okay, let's head back to the Khorne's Expanse map and continue with our explorations, but we will be doing that in the next episode. So, I duly hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, do drop this video a like, and I will catch you all in the next one. Heritor out.